All right, let's get into adding some trees now. Oh, some trees, gosh. Let's get into adding some leaves. And let's just work in this little section over here. So pretty much how I'm going to handle these leaves, I see, okay, there's a big branch right over here. Let's just plow this in nice and black. And so let's continue with this tree trunk kind of going on up. And basically, you know, what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to use, I'm keeping my pencil on the page. I'm just using like a scribbly stroke, but I'm doing it slower and much more controlled. And let's come on down this way now and continue with this. Now, there's lots of these like little white negative spaces coming through the leaves, the sky in the background over there, so I'm trying to keep that. I don't want to just shade haphazardly. I kind of am in a way, but not totally like haphazardly. There's some control to it. I'm working like in small sections as well. I think you want to squint here. Use that squinting technique, the same technique that you use when you're trying to look at the overall values of the shadow of the light and the light in figure drawing. And so I'm going to overlap now this tree trunk. And you know where these leaves over here are primarily all in shadow. There's some leaves that are catching a little bit more light. Now this is much darker. And I'm squinting. And let's just add, I gotta get a sharper pencil. I'm sure I'll break it right off the bat. Oh yeah, this kills your fingers if you're using this pencil to press down really hard. So let me gradually shake it out and keep going. Okay, so now, you know, the more you can squint, the better. I am just kind of working in this little negative space. You should be able to see this photo right below the tutorial, I believe. Something should be below the tutorial. So, yeah, let's just keep scribbling in a controlled fashion. You know, you could also do this the same way that I did the tree trunks. You know, you do the middle tone, and then those middle tone marks that you put down on the paper basically are the leaves in the background, and then you gradually just keep getting darker, and those leaves are the ones that could possibly be coming forward. And there's another little branch right over here that comes across, and let's just kind of plow in some more little leaves. Again, I don't know how much of this is going to be valuable for you, but you know, I think I'll photograph it each stage of the way. Again, I know I've said this a couple times, but I want to keep making sure that you see where I'm coming from with this tutorial, that you know, I'm filming as much as I think you're going to want to see. I'm not sure. Everyone's completely different in terms of how much information they want to see on a tutorial, but you know, the main thing that you want to pull from this chapter is primarily that I'm scribbling. You know, and I'm working in like these little sections. So I'm glancing at this. This tree actually becomes two big thick branches up top. So let's scribble that in. Let's not lose track of like all the intricacies. Keep squinting. And let's put in some more leaves over here. I'm going to hold my pencil a different way. This is where you can really have some fun with all those little branches. Basically what you're doing here is you're just blocking in. Alright, let's do a little bit over here now. Just block in. Another branch that kind of comes up. Okay, these are the initial stages. You know, of course we're going to have some leaves that are going to go in front of these tree trunks, and we're going to do some of that with our eraser. But you got to get some pencil down on the paper initially. And these leaves are really far away. There's like tricks to doing leaves closer up, which I probably won't get into in this tutorial, but just want to think of the leaves as like surface planes. Still trying to stay in touch with all these little branches. Gives the scene so much more character. Okay, let me switch to a sharper pencil. You can stipple a little bit over here. You know, again, we'll make it soft as we go. But this just takes tons of time, but the end results are really beautiful. And let me move this over slightly. Okay, so there's all these leaves going on right behind her head. I'm looking at my value study. I included them in that value study. I'm going to include them in the final piece. I may not go really dark with it at first. Let's just see how I like it, because that light, I need something to make that light part of her hair really pop. So just scribble. By scribbling, you create all those beautiful little negatives in between each leaf. And as I'm working, like, you could just work this little section here that I'm doing. It's a little less intimidating if you work a little section at a time. Little section meaning in between the tree trunks, because it can get pretty hairy if you try to, you know, tackle all this all at once. And so you kind of map it all out like this, and then you go back and then you refine. And I'll pull back soon, and I want to shoot this part all the way there. That's a pretty big part. But let's come back here now, and let's just keep with this section. Again, I'm not going to copy it exactly. You know, I like my value study better than I like the photograph in some respects, because I kind of eliminated a lot of that light sky. That's really making it choppy. So just trying to put a little bit more middle tone over there is going to add to way more environment. So I hope that you're getting something from this tutorial, something very different than the other tutorials that I've done on the site. I don't know if I've even done anything. I might have done some stuff with a landscape with some perspective early on, but it wasn't tight. Okay, I'm going to work a little off camera. We'll come back and I'll continue with the same stuff.